I'm really excited to finally be doing one of these again. Welcome to the 2025/2026 collection room tour. Last year or year before last, did not really do one. Sorry about that. But now I got some things updated. It's looking nice, and I just really wanted to do a video about this because I got everything clean finally. I think it looks nice. I just wanted to show everything off. So, I think a good place to start. Well, I guess a good place to start would be over here, but I guess maybe a little backstory on this room first. I started working in this room, specifically on this side right here, this green wall. Started working in this room in like March of 2020, I think, right before like the day school shut down for 2 weeks and then we never went back. This wall I started working with, I had this one shelf right here and I put it over there and I just started stacking games on it because I got bored the night that school let out. And I'd been interested in collecting a lot more prior to that, like probably say like 2016 is when I was like, wow, I think video games are cool. I want to have a lot of them. And then 2020, when I started doing like more chores and stuff outside, is like when I got really into it because I had more money to buy stuff. And this was kind of the original corner. Did not look like this always. This is a far cry from what it originally looked like. But I guess with that out of the way, I'll start right here. One of my biggest regrets, if I'm being totally honest, these things. They are lights. They look nice. I'll show you them plugged up over here. Gotta turn them on. It was originally, see, look right here, tape falling off, wires exposed. I thought I could make something neat, but I just kind of ended up falling flat on my face. If you stand really far back, and I'm talking really far back, it looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. But once you get up close to it and you just see all the exposed wires and the clear amount of white electrical tape that I put up there, just gets on my nerves so bad. And it was really expensive too, so I hate to have to like hate on it pretty much, but I just do. But with those out of the way, I can actually get to my games. So a lot of these NES games, most of them are kind of just hand-me-downs. This was one of the first NES games that I ever got. My dad got that one for me with like a Hyperkin console that just played NES games. Don't remember what that Hyperkin console was called. I doubt they make it anymore, but still, that was cool. But one of the most interesting games, easily, that I have, well actually I guess two of the most interesting, I have them back to back, one NES and one Famicom, is Wally Bear and the No Gang, which was like in the war on drugs era in the United States, made their own cartridges and their own games and put them on the NES unofficially without Nintendo's license. And then we also have Takeshi's Challenge, which is like one of the hardest games ever, I think. I think there's only like 12 people who have ever beat it. JonTron is one of them. I don't know how many... Oh, that is not the right way that goes in. I don't know... Let's see. This is kind of narrow and hard to do with one hand. There we go. I know JonTron is one of the people who beat it. I don't know how many people have actually played it, though. And right next to these two, another interesting game. I tell this story every single time because I just think it was so cool. So I went to this retro game store in Greensboro, North Carolina called Lost Art Games, and I really wanted to play Super Mario RPG, and I got this game, and I got these two. I wanted the coolest Zelda and the coolest Mario that I could find for the consoles, and that console is actually sitting right over down there. Oh, it's just focusing on my hand. That's bad. It's just that console right down over there. But I wanted the coolest Mario and the coolest Zelda for the console, and I found Zelda. I think this is a Selects edition. Yeah, so I'd like to find the regular version of this one again. But I got this, and I was looking for a regular copy of Super Mario RPG, but they didn't have one. But I noticed they had a CRT that was playing it up in the corner, and I asked them if I could have the display model. Well, actually, no, I think they asked me if I wanted the display model. I was like, yeah, sure, it's still Mario RPG. And they're like, okay, yeah, here you go. And the board in it, I think, is real, but the outside and the sticker is like a 3D printed cartridge and a like a reprint sticker. And they gave me a little bit of a discount on it, so that was really cool. That's always a story that I like telling, because I see less of it nowadays, where like people are more like, oh, it's a tight-knit collecting community, because collecting is now kind of got very overblown with a lot of scalpers in a lot of areas. Retro video games less so, because they've already came out, but there's still more people getting to collecting nowadays, more so just for a profit and not just having something fun to do that they enjoy doing. But looking back on memories like that is really special to me, just because that was kind of the era of when people still kind of cared and things were like really close together. Like if you knew another collector, that was kind of really important of a bond to have, because not a lot of people were really that into it. And well, I'm acting like I was like in the early days of when stuff like this was popular, like when Angry Video Game Nerd was like in his prime. This was like 2019, so not that big of a deal, but still it was important, especially when like you're in a rural area and there's not a lot of people who do enjoy that stuff. But next up, another two games that are really important to me, Pokemon Stadium games. This one does not work anymore. I don't know what happened to it. But this one I got passed down from my cousins. Actually, a lot of these games I got passed down from my cousins. And my N64 Jungle Edition that I actually got to relocate to be able to be played on a CRT TV that I'll show you later. I got that from them too, and I also got the Tony Hawk's games. I always thought those were super cool, just because they had different color cartridges, and Stadium 2 has the dual tone cartridge that I thought was super neat. And another thing that I also like really telling stories about is my Sega Genesis collection. So, EA used to like reverse engineer their games because they didn't like the license agreement that Sega had. There is a version of this that is in one of the plastic cases. That is the unofficial, unlicensed version. But this one is the real licensed version, and all of EA's licensed stuff, I think, came in these cardboard boxes. I'm not totally sure about that though. I'm sure maybe one or two was like in the plastic boxes, but most of them were all in the cardboard stuff. And a lot of Sega games ended up switching over from plastic to cardboard, which I thought was really strange. And I also have Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I don't have the English version, I have the Mega Drive version. But most of the like retro consoles that you'll buy, they can play Mega Drive and Sega Genesis as well. And not a Sega CD game or a PlayStation game, but a PC game, have Mario Teaches Typing 2. Not really sure where to put this, besides next to the other regular CD size cases. But a little out of place, but maybe not. My PS1 collection, all of it's right here. I don't have that many. A lot of them are actually all of them, I guess not all of them, most of them are like the big box dual games. Got the Final Fantasies, I think, yeah, Gran Turismo 1 was a big box. Well, actually, I say big box, but there's even bigger boxes than these. There's long box PS1 games, I'm pretty sure. Maybe that was a PS2, I'm not totally sure. And the other 2 games are just Guppel and Mega Man 8. Still need to play Mega Man 8, by the way. That's like one of the games I've had here for like forever that I still haven't actually put in my console yet. And down here, I have a whole bunch of more like passed down games and stuff. I think the only games that I've ever actually bought for my PS2 was Gran Turismo, the Final Fantasy games, and this Ultimate Spider-Man, not that one. And but like the rest was just all my cousin's stuff. And GameCube, don't really have a whole bunch of the must-have titles, and some of my most expensive ones that I have, like Pokemon Coliseum, have no manual. So it's just the disc. So there's still stuff that I'm missing about that I really want to have. But I do have some interesting GameCube games. This one was signed by Michael Watkins, who done some of the promotional material. I don't know if a lot of people know him or not. I've actually met him several times at conventions and stuff like that. I have another game signed by him that he actually worked pretty closely on. I'll show you guys that one in just a minute. But we have original Xbox, Xbox 360, more Xbox 360 down here, and over here. I have the Mass Effect trilogy in this huge case. It's impossible to take out of this thing and impossible to put back in, so I'm not going to fill it with it. But I have this, but I feel bad for having it because I honestly don't like Mass Effect that much. Just never really interested me. But I found it and then I played the games off of that collection and I was like, man, I just don't really like this that much. Like I feel bad for buying it even. But oh, hold on. Another cool one. Burger King games. I don't know. I don't even know if people really like those games for what they are, or if they just like them because it was funny that Burger King did that. But we got Wii games down here, and the most coolest one that I have is the Sonic and the Black Knight that I got Michael Watkins to sign, who actually did work on like this like storyboard, a storybook style art in the game. And he's also done like stuff on like Transformers, and he did one Sonic comic for Archie. And I have that one signed by him as well. But other than that, I just got some more Wii and Wii U stuff that stretches all the way up here. Xbox games, PS3 games, PS4, PS5. I think my Switch collection is probably my biggest. Got a couple collector's editions down here, and one thing that I've been really proud of so far, put them all out over here, is my Switch 2 exclusives collection. I'm missing Mario Kart World, but honestly, out of this lineup, I think that is the only bad game. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's pretty good. It gets a little repetitive after a bit, but still not a bad game. I definitely feel like by the end of it, I had played it for so long that I definitely got $70 worth out of it. Same for Kirby Air Riders, kind of. There's like some repetitive content in it. Like you can kind of get through most things pretty quickly, but like when you're playing with friends, it has like a really, really good replay value. And once again, I feel like I got $70 out of this game, especially when playing it with other people. And then there's Hyrule Warriors. I haven't finished this game yet, but honestly, out of these two, I'm liking this one the most, which is shocking to me because I don't like Tears of the Kingdom. I think Tears of the Kingdom is honestly just a remix of Breath of the Wild, and that's it. But this, even if like it has that weird Tears of the Kingdom story that I'm not that big of a fan of, I still think it's just really, really good. And which I'm also surprised by because I hate Warriors games too. I feel like it's like ridiculous that like the original Warriors games where you're like one person who can launch 15 people the exact same size as you across a field is kind of stupid. But then when you like replace it with like monsters and stuff, and like people who can use magic or like have these like gigantic weapons, I feel like it makes a lot more sense. And I feel like Warriors is also a lot more home feeling with the Zelda franchise than any other like franchise or fantasy themed thing. But besides those games, got my DS collection. It's pretty small. I have more of them over here behind Glaceon. I have them in this. I don't know if I'll be able to get this open with one hand. Oh, never mind. Might be able to. But like I have like a lot of big games like Pokemon Hearts, Soul Silver, Pokemon Diamond, the original Bowser's Inside Story, and like some 3DS games like at the very bottom that Pokemon Platinum, that's another big one. Some like 3DS games at the bottom. Pokemon White 2. The rest of these are just kind of basic games. I do have Majora's Mask up here, but I'm not that big of a fan of Majora's Mask either. I kind of like I like the baseline Zeldas where it's like, this is exactly what I expected it to be. Or like the more like lighthearted Zeldas that like experiment a little bit, like Wind Waker. Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker are like my big 3 Zeldas. But I completely understand why other people like Majora's Mask. Especially when like people were like wanting like Twilight Princess, and then we got Wind Waker. I could easily see how you would be upset with like Wind Waker and then just immediately jump back to Majora's Mask until Twilight Princess came out. But me personally, I like the lighter hearted stuff. Another interesting DS game that I have down here is Personal Trainer Walking. It's still sealed. It is sun bleached. I want to get another one, but I really don't see the point in doing it because I know I'm not going to play it. I just kind of like the fact that they're like $2 and all of them are sealed because nobody wanted them. I'm sure I'm going to look back now and it's going to be like double or triple the price, which still wouldn't be that bad. It'd be like $15 at that point, but like some things in collecting are just weird now, man. Like it's kind of crazy. Like stuff that you wouldn't think would be like super expensive, like hikes up in price, and then some things with some games just kind of stay the same. But besides that, I have 3DS. I've really been wanting to get back into 3DS. A lot of people have. Fake grass. A lot of people have been wanting to get back for like emulating. I've just wanted to play all these games again without a 3DS that isn't like from when I was a kid, that's like covered in like kid grease from like eating snacks while playing games and stuff like that. I'll show you guys my handheld consoles next. I'll get to the 3DS that I was talking about a little bit, but first off, I have my Switch collection, Switch OLED collection. I have all the special edition OLED consoles. They're a little bit hard to see or flip through, so I'll just kind of zoom out like that so you can see. You got the Zelda one, the Splatoon one, the Scarlet and Violet one, and I have the Switch Lite. The base is very dusty. That's another issue that I've been having with my collection room, is that like no matter how hard I clean, especially after Christmas, because you see all this fake grass stuff anywhere, no matter how hard I clean, anything that is like not like these like white countertops gets dust everywhere. Like even like this gray color, like you still see dust show up on that like really, really bad. But that's the Switches. And these are the Game Boys / the 3DS's, and the Zelda Game & Watch. See, look, you can see even dust on this right now, and there's, like, I don't know how to, like, clean this, because it's cardboard. Like, I feel like I'm gonna ruin it. I'm scared to, like, clean some of this stuff, because I feel like if I do, it's gonna mess it up. But, so, to kind of combat the, like, greasy Cheeto finger childhood 3DS, which is this one, which has seen much better days by the back. This is where my sweaty kid palms would play games. And then if you open that up, it's orange, kind of. It's starting to yellow. That's not like the original light gray. And so is that. And there, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like these like markings right here. I don't know what happened with that. And like the mic button, there's like cracker dust in there. And like I could try restoring this console, I guess. I probably should have sent it to Nintendo a long time ago. But now I'm really not too sure what to do with it, except for just keep on playing with it and just keep on playing with this one, because how can I mess it up more? And this one was supposed to kind of combat that, but the pen fell out the bottom, and this thing is just so uncomfortable. Like, people like it because, wow, I'm really having a hard time opening this with one hand. A lot of people like this console because, oh, look, the top looks like a smartphone. You've probably heard so many people say that so many times. But this thing is not comfortable. The buttons feel nice. I love the buttons. I love the shoulder buttons too. I think this has the nicest feeling buttons out of any 3DS. But this also has no 3D. And the palm placement hurts after a while. I don't know why, because it's not too different from the rest of these, but it's different enough to where it just makes it uncomfortable for playing after a while. So I wanted to get one of the like loaf-shaped 3DSs, because I feel like it would be more like the original DMG Game Boy, where it's just like big and comfortable in your hands. You just kind of like wrap your hands around it, and you're not having to like crimp your hands into a shape that like fits how thin the other 3DS are. But I could be totally wrong about that. It might be the most uncomfortable console that I've ever had in my hands, ever. So I guess like trial and error, but who knows? Maybe I'm right about it. But next up, I have wired controllers and my wireless controllers go in here. Some of them are wired, but most of them are wireless. And I think this is just NES stuff and plug and plays. Yeah, I forgot what this is. Oh, peripherals. Okay. And that's it for over here, besides the toys up top. Dragapult, he has some issues with dust on him. I've been meaning to fix that. I actually probably could dust him. I actually do need to dust these figures. But a lot of them, I just kind of forget that they're up there most of the time. I also have down here some figures. Wow, the light is like really messing that up. Some figures have old awards and posters on the walls too, but those aren't video games, so that doesn't matter to me. Well, not for this video, but in general, those matter a lot. I have my PC. It's where I do some things, or just procrastinate. Up here, we also have more figures and collector's editions. I bought this one thinking it was complete in box. It was not. It was missing the original copy of the game and just had the steel book, but oh well. I have the Metroid Dread one. You can probably see that if I move the camera like this. I have some Club Nintendo pin sets. Those were always a cool thing that everybody wanted in their collection room. Light up Pikachu. Probably might not light up anymore because it's been a while. Nope, he still does. Cool. Arcade Pac-Man Ghost. Cosmo from Down to Earth, Pookie Senpai's series, her comic. And the pre-order bonus, I was gonna call it a tapestry, but I guess it's a poster because it's not made of cloth and it doesn't hang down or anything like that. Sure, we'll go with that. We also have one of my bigger prides and joys from a couple years ago. I worked really hard on this. I've kind of just had it sitting for most of the time nowadays, but I still like having it around. My whole Wii collection. This really means a lot to me. At the time, the Wii was my favorite console, but then the Switch just kept on getting good games, and that kind of blew it out of the water a little bit. But overall, I think the Wii was a fantastic console, and I really, really like having the console just sitting up like this. Because like, there's like a whole bunch of big collectors, especially collectors who inspire me, like Nintendo collecting, or I think his other name is Lithium207. He's super, super cool. I loved watching his stuff. He was the one who got me into collecting with his videos. So very, very appreciative towards the stuff that he makes and just like the collection room that he shares. I got I've already showed the white Wii several times, I'm sure, but I got the black Wii. This was actually my original childhood Wii. This is the one that my parents got for the family room back when we first moved in like 2009. The box is not the original box that I had from when I was a kid. I had to buy all these boxes again. I think this is still sealed, because the one that I use is a Japanese version, and I think I had the box for that like all the way down here in this mess somewhere. I think it's this one. This is the one that I opened. Oh, okay. It's backwards. This is the one that I opened, and I just kept the other one. A lot of this stuff is actually Japanese packaging that just looks like North American packaging. I've been wanting to fix that for a while, but I just didn't, and I'm trying to save money for other things nowadays besides video games, since I'm not like 13 and just collecting this stuff for fun anymore. Well, I'm still collecting this stuff for fun. This is like everything to me, but that's not just the only responsibility that I have anymore, is to just have fun and collect stuff. So I do have to be a little bit more sparing with my money. But another thing that I think is really cool too, this Wii doesn't do as much as these two. These two are like the GameCube backwards compatible ones, but I still think this blue Wii is like really, really neat. I wanted to put like the gold stuff with it, but I feel like it was kind of out of place. And I also only had the Japanese versions of the gold stuff. I don't have the American versions of the gold stuff. But the gold, I think I have it in here, like up top actually. The gold, yep, right here. The gold North American version of this, I think, only came with GoldenEye 007, and that's like a box and a game and a controller all in itself, and it's really big, and I don't think it would fit with this. So I might just leave the Japanese version down there to itself. But there's also a red version that I've been wanting to put right here, but is really, really expensive, and I can't find it. And there's a red version of these controllers as well. I almost got one delivered to me from Europe for like $100, and it was super rare. Super, super rare. To this day, very rare. And is the only one that I've ever seen up for sale. They didn't ship to the United States, so I unfortunately did not get one. But besides my Wii stuff, I have my handheld collection over here, kind of. Not the most impressive thing. I don't know why this is sitting here, if I'm being totally honest. I got that at Christmas, and I just didn't put it up here. It could probably fit right there in that space next to Mario, but I just didn't put it up there. But maybe it would look weird, I'm not sure. Got some more cool gifts right here. That was a graduation gift. This was a Christmas gift from forever ago, but I'm sure what a lot of you guys want to see is the games. Most of my... This is fake. Most of my Game Boy games are like standard issue stuff. Sonic, Mario Tennis, more Sonic, Midnight Club Street Racing, but just kind of stuff like that. But the cooler stuff I keep in the big cases over here. It's like Pokemon Yellow, got Pokemon Red right here. I'm sure a lot of you could tell just by the colors. But one thing that I'm really, really proud of, and I'll take it over here to show you guys so it's not as cramped. I almost have all of the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games. For every other console past the DS, I have Well, actually, I guess I was getting ready to say I have all the games past the original DS, but that's not totally true. I'm missing some Switch games, but one thing I didn't show earlier, I do have all the mainline Pokemon games for the 3DS. And the 3DS Pokemon era is something that a lot of people dog on, but I loved it a lot. I think the only mainline Switch game that I'm missing is Let's Go Eevee, because I have Let's Go Pikachu's right here, and there's Sword, Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, Scarlet Violet, Legends EA. So, yeah, it's just Eevee. But, still pretty cool. I'm only missing Sapphire. And then I would have all GBA and all 3DS and enough of the DS games. I would say the biggest one after that biggest one after GBA is obviously the DS. The DS Pokemon games are absurdly high in price, which is really strange to me considering how many people had them growing up. Like, that was like some of the best selling titles besides Black and White 2. Like, Black and White 2, I understand that. And I understand Platinum's price because not a lot of people got Platinum. But like Diamond and Pearl and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like I would have expected those to like not be that expensive. And Pearl isn't that expensive actually. I think Pearl is like the $30 to $60 range, but like the rest of them are like topping like $130, $140, usually bottoming out at like maybe $90. So kind of a little crazy, but I guess if you really want it, it's doable. Next I have my unboxed Amiibos. I wish I could have a better place to put these. A lot of the cooler ones, well I guess maybe not the cooler ones, but like the ones that like are kind of doubles and just good representation on Nintendo, go in the Amiibo kiosk. I'm not gonna plug it up today, because it's a death trap down here. It's scary and definitely a fire hazard, and its cord is also wrapped around the entire thing, and my TV antenna is resting on top of it. That's not an excuse though. I just don't like plugging this thing up that much, just because not only do I have the PC over there that's plugged in and taking up power, but I also have all the consoles down here and the TV that's already on. So, and by the way, there we go. So, I usually don't plug it up that much, but if you guys want to see it, let me know. I will gladly plug it up some other time and explore like all the ads and stuff, because there's some really cool stuff on there. But going back to the Amiibo, I think I have most of the Splatoon ones, if I'm factoring in sealed ones down there. But besides that, or beside this, I have my Dragon Ball VHS collection. Don't have my VHS player in here, it's downstairs, and I'm going to show you guys that in a minute. Got Piccolo as well, it's one of my favorite figures. And a Toys R Us Toys R Us Banjo-Kazooie ad that I guess would play like in TVs underneath kiosks, maybe, I'm not totally sure. Next up, I have my DVD collection. I'm a huge fan of sitcoms. I love sitcoms, one of my favorite things to watch on TV. And then I also have my Marvel movies and anime stuff over here. That's kind of small, but not totally awful. Books, not that really entertaining. I have Marvel Comics, Ultimate Spider-Man, my favorite Marvel line, and the one Gameverse one that they released. I think they released another one since. And then I also have manga and Scott Pilgrim. They all go in different directions. This is going to be a pain to put back on the shelf. Hold on. Scott Pilgrim. I also have the Odd Ones Out too, but I mean the Odd Ones Out, I don't know if people really like him anymore. Hold on, I gotta cut to put all these books back on the shelf. Right, next up I have a whole bunch of sealed stuff, mostly figures. I have some of the sealed Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo that were on sale on Black Friday. I just got the characters that I liked personally. I have Clear Eyes Gohan, one of the most terrible figures I've ever held in my hands in my life. I hate that thing, and I'm glad that I got it for free. a sealed Wii remote, Wii nunchuck. I have two of them, actually. One of the old ones and then one of the newer ones. And a points card. Try not to knock all of this over and show it at the same time. Oshawott, another cool thing. This, I actually made an Instagram post about this when I first got it. One of the coolest Amiibo sets ever, I think. But I also just love Splatoon, and I think the Squid Sisters is what made Splatoon special for a lot of people, because it was kind of like, oh wow, it's like that one like super recognizable voice in all the games that coincidentally has pretty recognizable brands once you play the game long enough. And all of this down here is sealed Amiibos and Skylanders. The coolest Skylander set that I have is definitely this Toys R Us 3 set. Unfortunately, I kind of had to like glue like the stuff back on, so it's not sealed. It was at one point, but I ordered them in the summer, and the heat melted everything off of them. Another Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo. This one was when Tears of the Kingdom first came out, though. Another one of the super cool Splatoon ones, the double packs. I really like the way that they done a Splatoon 3 Amiibo as well. These were like some of the highest quality looking ones. I also really like buddies as well. It's like, usually you don't see like too much of the like ink flow on the Amiibos unless you're like looking at like the squib ones or these. These also had like some of the cooler like ink patterns and stuff. But really big fan of those. Big Man, I think that's the only like large box Splatoon ones. And you have Samus and Emmy, or EMMI. I don't know how people pronounce it, but there's them. The closet. I used to have this just sitting around, but now I actually kind of know how to play piano. And I've dipped my toes into another instrument that I don't really know how to play, the guitar. I suck at guitar. I've considered trading it in for a bass. Don't know if I should do that or not. I've started like paying more closer attention to the music that I listen to, and I've noticed that like when I listen to music, a lot of what I gravitate towards more in songs is either synthesizers or bass. I usually don't pay that close attention to guitar. Now there's some songs where it's like the guitar is absolutely my favorite part, but then there's others where it's like, the bass line was just cooler than the guitar part was. And like there's just a lot of songs like that. Like I think the first one that like it kind of clicked where I was like, wow, that's not a guitar doing that, that's a bass doing that. I think bass might actually be cooler, was like Love Buzz by Nirvana. That was the first one where it was like super apparent to me that it wasn't just a guitar doing that. Can't really think of any other songs off the top of my head, but I also feel like bass would just be easier to play, more fun to play, because you're not like having to worry about 2 extra strings or like how pretty it sounds. You're just kind of giving a good bass line to the song, and then other people can kind of build on top of that with you. I think that just kind of sounds more interesting and fun. And we got some boxes in the floor that I need to fix. I finally organized a lot of my extra junk and wires. I've been having an issue with the PS2 and the Retro Trio Plus. There's no room for them downstairs, but there is room for them up here. But I honestly don't know what I'd be doing with them, because I don't play the Retro Trio that much, but I do play the PS2 a lot. I love my PS2, but I don't want it sitting there in the like the closet. And I've been thinking, well, why don't I just get the like fat PS3? But that's like $300 to $600 depending on where you get it from. So kind of a dilemma. I also hate the PS3 controller. It's so light and flimsy feeling. It feels like a toy, but like the PS2 and like actually feels like a real controller. I don't know if anybody else shares that same sentiment, but that's how I feel about it. And next up, we got more boxes. I wish I had them arranged cooler, but I don't. I'm sorry. Forgive me. And before we get to the meat and potatoes, my favorites, the consoles, I actually set up my couch kind of nice this time. That's just about it. So for consoles, this is where I'm having my biggest toboggan. I've explained the PS3 thing already. Xbox One, I honestly kind of want to ditch it. I'm not gonna lie, because the only Xbox games that I play are on the 360. I don't care about the new Halos. I don't care about the third-party games on the Xbox that I could just get on a PS4, which is backwards compatible on this thing, the PS5. So, I only really have use for Xbox 360, especially when my original Xbox games, most all of them back here are backwards compatible. Halo 1 is, Halo 2 is. I don't know if the limited edition of the Jade Empire is, but I'm pretty sure it is. I think Ninja Gaiden is. Spider-Man isn't, but Spider-Man you can also play on the PS2. It's not that big of a deal. Taito, that is not, unfortunately, but you can also get Taito games in other places. Morrowind is, the Star Wars games are, and that's it. That's all I have. I don't think this edition of it is, but I can still play Clone Wars, and Tetris Worlds is also playable on the Game Boy, which I already have. So, honestly, the Xbox 360, for what I have in terms of games, is kind of almost the only thing that I need. But I need to update it to play Morrowind, apparently. I looked into that. It was really weird, but mine wouldn't connect to the internet for some reason. That's also an issue that I gotta fix. But you may be thinking, why do you have the PS4 plugged up if you have the PS5, and then also these when you have the Retro Trio? And that is because all of these down here at the bottom are not plugged up. They just don't have shelf space in this room. I have nowhere to put them, and I want to put them in the basement, just like on a nice shelf. But the basement is also in an interesting situation that I'm going to show you later. But in terms of stuff that we have plugged up, we have the PS5, and I can play PS4 stuff on that. The PS3, got PS1 and PS3 games. Don't really play PS3 games a whole bunch, and PS1 I haven't been that in love with. And I'm honestly considering just like taking this out and putting the PS2 in its place, because I should play it so much more. Like, I love my PS2. I don't know why I just have it sitting there on the console. I'm probably going to change it after this, if I'm being totally honest. Wii U, I love my Wii U. I probably would rather just play the GameCube more up here, but the GameCube is also in another interesting place in the basement. We're going to go look at that again later. And the Switch 2. I've heard some people say that the Switch 2 is an investment. I think it definitely is, but if I'm being totally honest with you, with Animal Crossing and Hyrule Warriors, I'm kind of enjoying my investment, I'm not gonna lie. Now, Mario Kart for $80, that's insane, and game key cards make my blood boil, so that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but right now, we're gonna act happy. And, also go to the basement, I guess. So, this is currently what's going on with the basement. This whole mess right here. So, this is where I play N64, GameCube, and watch Dragon Ball. And I finally got a CRT like I wanted. But if you'll notice, this side of the room, and the cards that I have, all that over there, even the junk in my chair, looks kind of rough. This room has got a long way to go. And, see, there's still Christmas decorations over here. I've actually kind of straightened up this area a little bit. By the looks of this, you may think that I really love cards, and I used to really love cards, but honestly, I've kind of had it ruined for me. The one card shop that was open in my city is gone, and scalpers are just terrible. But I really did love cards. I'm sure, as you can see, I have... These aren't sealed. These are just kind of sitting here, but I do have some sealed things. These are just empty boxes, but still some stuff that I really, really like in this area. And believe me when I say... Actually, I'm not going to open up a deck. I'm just going to show you this. Believe me when I say that I like cards. I have Grand Archive stuff. If you know what Grand Archive is, you're fantastic. I appreciate you. My favorite card game of all time, by the way. But, I mean, there's also Magic and Pokemon here that I got that I really like. And the Dragon Ball game and Union Arena. Those are super cool too. I really like those a lot. But this is a cool looking section that I just haven't had the heart to pay much attention to, just because there's no one around where I live to really play with, and when there is people online or in farther away tournaments, the cards to go and buy to play the game with are like astronomically high. So I would rather just play video games and enjoy the medium that I fell in love with first, instead of pumping all of my money into something that's people consider lucrative now and want to make a whole bunch of money off of. But anyways, more cool things that we have over here. Got some Metroid posters that I framed from my Nintendo that I'm gonna put up, and another poster over there that came from 7-Eleven. I'm not gonna unfold that because I can't do it with one hand. I'm gonna tear it. But more cool stuff over here. All these boxes, these are going. These are old toys. These are getting sold. And my poor old original Xbox over there. I really want to get that up and running again because my grandma gave that to me. But if I can't, then I can't. Another cool thing too, Michael Watkins signed a Sonic for me. I think everything that I have in my collection that's been signed has been by Michael Watkins. But the main thing is over here. So I'm sure you could already tell exactly what this was, but pretty much this is just the retro setup right now. There's more I'd like to do with it, but right now, really not too sure what to do with it. And another issue that I've been having upstairs as well is I want some IKEA furniture, but if you'll go back upstairs with me, furniture that's just wear and tear, but there's dust spots that I'm sure you can see just everywhere on the darker furniture. But if you go over to the light stuff, can't see anything. Even on like I'll pick a shelf that I haven't touched or dusted right here. You can kind of see a little bit of dust, but you gotta get right there at it. If you step away, you can't see it, but like in this room, I can see the dust on that thing from all the way over here. Like, it's bad. Like, I'm sure you can't see it on the camera, but I can, and it gets on my nerves really, really bad. And I want to find IKEA furniture that's, I know is like good and sturdy, and they used to have this birch wood that was like a nice wood grain effect, but it was light like this, and dust wouldn't show up on it. But they don't make it anymore. Like, all the stuff that they have on their website now is just old stock that they haven't sold yet. But they said they were going to discontinue it in favor of dark oak and walnut, which both of them look beautiful, and I would love to have them, but they're almost no different from this like black wood grain that I have right now, and that shows dust like crazy. I have to dust these constantly, and sometimes I just don't do it, and it looks like somebody just like sneezed dust powder all over them, and it's terrible. So if any of you guys have like darker colored IKEA furniture, let me know. Like, does it like work for you for like anything, like collecting or just like having nice furniture in your house, especially an entertainment stand? That's my biggest issue so far, is like I'll sit down and then I'll look, and then all I'll see running across is just dust, and it gets on my nerves so bad. And I'm fine with cleaning it. You can't be lazy with cleaning, but I feel like it would look so much nicer, and I would have to clean it so less often if it was just birch. Like that color right there. That was pretty much the color it was. And they're gone. But, oh well, I digress. Just a little rant. But anyways, I think that is it for all my collection room stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was entertaining. I haven't done this in a while, so might not be the best. Oh, hold on. That is a poster from GameStop. That is a poster, or I guess tapestry, from the car shop that I used to work at that shut down. And these are posters from movie theaters. Anyway, that's it. Bye.